After a brief hiatus for the new year, we are back in full with our Nashville Sound franchise here, sitting at a record of 17-13. And as you can see, I simulated to December 19th because that is when we could make a trade with the guys that we signed in the offseason. And that is exactly what we have done. Sam Hudson has been traded along with a 2031 second round pick to the Raptors in exchange for Looney and a lottery protected first round pick for this year. It was speculated that it might be Moses Moody on the move, but in the end, Sam Hudson is going to get a chance to start on another team. The Raptors are above 500 and Sam Hudson will be their highest overall point guard. So the move has been made to get us to a 9-man rotation mentioned in the last episode. But it just feels like this team needs to be a 9-man rotation kind of team. And so here is that new rotation. I think this is going to help us out a lot. Nobody's getting, 12 minutes a game. Davidson, I said earlier on that I would give him a chance to start this year, but we've been really good since we started Powers. And so I'm going to keep him in there unless, the team starts to falter again. We could change it again. But even though he's not starting, Davidson is now getting 28 minutes a game, which is the same amount of minutes as Powers and Andre Stevens. So he's practically a starter, just, not by technically speaking. Moody, still coming off the bench, but he still gets 24 minutes a game. That's the exact amount of minutes he was getting as a starter. And then AC Stevens and Ernest Augustine get 16. This is pretty much the minute spread that I think everybody should be getting. I was nitpicking. Maybe I think in an ideal world, Ernest Augustine is a 20-minute-a-night guy. We could give him, we could give Lamont Powers 24 and Ernest August 20. That's an easy change that we could do at some point. But I really like kind of the minute spread, I should say, for a 9-man rotation. I think I like a lot better than what we had with the 10-man. I really like Sam Hudson. Us trading him was not a slight on what I thought about him at all. Just this gives us, like I said, better minute distribution, and it also gives us a team where 6'5" is the shortest player on the team. And so we're going to have length for days. We're going to have, just what I think can be a promising defensive team, a really good shooting team still. The biggest question is how much passing we'll lose with Davidson now taking up the backup point guard role. The ball will be in Lowry's hands a lot during those minutes anyway, so I don't think it'll be much of a problem. Although, of course, Hudson was a very good passer for us, but he gets a chance to be a starting point guard on a team that's trying to make the playoffs here in the East this year. And so I think a win-win trade for both sides. So Sam Hudson still has some upside to improve as well. And so I think he was worth that lottery protected first. And there you have it. That was the big deal that we made to get this team where I want it to be. And not saying this will be the lineup for the whole year, but the team has been on a little bit of a hot streak since we inserted Lamont Powers into the lineup. So that's the rotation we'll be rocking with for the foreseeable future. 17-13 right now. After a 2-5 start when we put Lamont Powers in the lineup, we've been quite good since then, and hoping we can continue this now with our 9-man rotation, because we're obviously a team with very high aspirations. Gonna play the Charlotte Hornets today, so let's hop right into the action. Unfortunately, the Hornets will be without LaMelo Ball in this game, so we won't get to see them at full strength, but it will still be a good look at our new 9-man rotation as Brandon Miller gonna need to step up in today's action to keep the Hornets in this one. Malachi Pope with a nice shot off the dribble. Really would like to see him have a good shooting performance. In our spotlight games, he seemed to not shoot consistently well, although as always, he's impacted the game in other ways, particularly with his strong passing. Here he's top of the key, looking for an isolation against Jaden Hardy, the point guard for us in Season 2 before he requested a trade. Andre Stevens there hits the wide open corner three. Pick and roll top of the key. Malachi drives inside but decides to pull up. And his shot had just a bit too much mustard on it. Miller gonna miss that one. Powers fighting through the screens. Hornets now passing it around. They're not gonna get the three-pointer to go. Lowry. He's getting an isolation attempt over there on the wing, step back, and a little bit of a floater there for his first points of the ballgame. Wide open there, top of the key, rattles in for Charlotte. Derek Jones there. Lowry again. This time going for the pass to Pope. It was a good look. Not going to fall for us. Mullins, his first shot of the game. He's going to fall for him. Wide open look for Charlotte again, and they drain the three, bringing this back to a 1-point game. Lowry inside, he draws the foul, and he's done a nice job on his drives to the basket in this one. Been very aggressive. That's what I like to see from the superstar. But like this year, he's added just even another element of his game, and has just become a little bit more unguardable. Seems unfair at times. See the opposing defense try to lock him up, and here he's going to the basket again, and just these tough finishes inside. Feels like he's pulling up for the mid-range jumper, just not nearly as much this year, and I'm liking the increased aggression. Mark Williams draws the foul, but the first free throw misses for him, so Hornets will get just 1 point out of that possession. Dish inside from Mullins, gets tipped away for a moment. But then Pope has the easy deuce. Hardy with it. He's pulling up from deep. That one off the mark. I'm still a little bit sad that Hardy couldn't stay on this team for a while. We ended up being pretty solid at the point guard spot with Pope and Hudson. But man, at the time I was really hoping that Hardy could be the guy for us. There, he splits the free throws. Charlotte with it again. Davidson onto the floor. That's going to be a steal by AC Stevens. Nice job playing the pass lane. And now Lowry does pull up from the mid-range, but he drains it. Makes it look silky smooth. Hop step layup here. There we go. He's showing all kinds of moves here in the first quarter of this game. It's going to be a leaner for Charlotte. Davidson running some pick and roll. That little in-between shots had just a bit too much on it. Charlotte hitting a lot of threes here. That seems to be their game plan in the absence of ball for this game. Lowry scores again. Took him just a few possessions later than usual to start getting going in this game, but once he's started, he has not stopped that scoring. Has been our main player here in the quarter, as he so often is, as Hardy goes 2 for 2 from the line. Andre Stevens double pumps, finds a wide open man on the wing. That's Christian Davidson. Miller defended by Moody. Goes inside. That's going to be a foul call and one for Charlotte. And Brandon Miller will finish that play. Been a pretty back and forth quarter here. Smooth step back jumper for Lowry, and his hot quarter continues. It's a lob attempt for Miller. It is just off the rim. That thing hung up there for quite some time. Davidson dribbling around, going for the elbow jumper, but he missed it. Charlotte now looking to end the quarter with a bucket, but Moses Moody with the steal, and then he drains the half court buzzer beater to end the first and give the Sound an 8-point lead. The steal to the half-court shot. That's a beautiful sequence. Miller In transition, pulls up top of the key and hits the three. Powers now with it. Defended by Brandon Miller. He's taking a pull-up jumper, and he missed everything. I mean, that was great defense by Brandon Miller, but goodness, Powers. That was not one of the best shots I've seen in this series, to say the least. And then he gives up the bucket to Brandon Miller on the other end. Tough little stretch, mini stretch there for Powers. Oh, inside to Ernest Augustine. He double pumps and finds a wide open Christian Davidson. He's making the most of his catch and shoot opportunities here. That's a deuce for Cameron Payne. Going inside on Pope. Pick and roll now. Mullins inside. Ousmane Dieng just cannot hang with him in the post. Payne just holding on to the ball for like 5 seconds there. He gets the bucket. Okay. Not the prettiest of baskets, but counts for the same 2 points as most of them do, and that is a much prettier basket. Wow. Francis Mullins showing off some range with his post moves there. In transition, Davidson finds Pope. He's firing early, and he hits it off the catch. The Sound are up 9. Miller, top of the key, rims around and out. Pick and roll for the Dynamite duo from Duke, but Mullins can't get that pick and pop to work. Campaign off the mark in the mid-range. Giving it down to Mullins, and he has just been a nice force for us in the middle. Offensively, the Hornets have very little answers to Mullins in that area. Davidson, that one was a little bit less wide open, and he missed the shot because of it. Going inside, that is a slam dunk by Jackson. Jeez. Doesn't have to embarrass our defense like that. Mullins. Nice attempt again. He's showing a wide variety of finishes as well alongside Sidney Lowry in this game. Ernest Augustine from the elbow trying to free up Christian Davidson. He does come free at the three-point line. When his looks are clean, they are typically falling. Carter has space from deep, but he missed it. Shot clock winding down for Mullins. Needs to come up with something, and Mark Williams with the block. That's a much more worthy opponent in the post. Brandon Miller can't get the transition three, though. Beating Mullins once more. The spin move. The second spin move, and he can't finish it, though. That would have been sweet. Jackson with space. Drains the triple and forces Nashville to call timeout. The three ball been a weakness for us in this game. Davidson pulls up from the mid-range. Lowry, that one gets stolen away by Jackson. Charlotte running the other way. Dieng up to Mark Williams for two. Davidson left way too much space, but he can't make him pay. Usually a shot we've been seeing him make. Hardy tries to hit a similar shot, but more contested, and it gets the same result. Oh, the spin move by Lowry just drops his defender and leaves him in the dust. What a move by Lowry. Oh. Would have been even sweeter if he could finish it off with a dunk, but the help defense was there. Late shot clock. Charlotte forced to take a tough one. And they're going to miss it. In transition, Moody pulls up and drains the shot. Wish he would have stayed behind the three-point line there. Hardy. Too much space for that three-point attempt. Jackson. Dishes to the corner. Derek Jones Jr. had a good look. But he's off the mark with it. Lowry, that's too good a look for the superstar wing. And with 4 seconds left in the half, should be a 16-point lead, but another buzzer beater. This one from even deeper. All right. So we'll lead by 13. Brandon Miller leads the Hornets with 15 points. Hardy and Payne with 9 each as well. On our side, Sidney Lowry dropped 23 points on 13 shots. And we had 4 guys in double figures. Davidson and Mullins and Pope also getting 10 plus points at half. But as always, Lowry leading us and being very efficient doing it. Starting the second half, Lowry, he's going to town from the mid-range, and he gets the half started well. Jackson here defended by Lowry. He gets pickpocketed. You can't just leave the ball out there dangling in front of Lowry. He's going to take it. Spinning shot by Powers on the other end. Not been his best day scoring so far. Hopefully he can pick it up on here in the second half, though. Miller continues to have a strong performance in the absence of his co-star. Lowry, that's one you just want to see him dunk it. He's certainly gotten more aggressive on his drives, but man, that needs to be showtime dunk. That tendency to pull up from the mid-range still comes through occasionally, but it has gotten better since even just last year. Here he is driving, finding Lamont Powers wide open, and he hits the 3. Nobody within 10 feet of him. Jaden Hardy, he hits that 3 off the catch. It's nice seeing Jaden Hardy back here in the series, even though it's not on our team. Pope responds with a 3 of his own right after that one. Miller, pick and roll. Finds space beyond the arc, and he splashes it in. And a tough matchup here for Powers. But nice to get him some good, tough matchups here ahead of the playoffs. Of course, if we were playing this team in the playoffs and LaMelo really was hurt, we'd have Sidney Lowry on him, but it's good practice nonetheless. And here he's getting the and one. Definitely like the potential of Powers being a future defensive stopper, but this game has proven is not quite there yet. His ratings aren't yet in a position for him to be an excellent defender, but you definitely see the makings of it with him for sure. With his athleticism and speed, there's a dunk off the inbound for Davidson. Not often do you see him go inside. He gets a great majority of his production off of his jump shot. Davidson behind the back. He's gonna get it stolen from him. Miller in transition, scoops it up and in with the foul. The Hornets are not going away in this game. It's been Brandon Miller and some three-point shooters really keeping Charlotte in this game. Step back for Davidson. Oh, you like the look of that one. Miller. Floater, not gonna fall. There he was, defended by Lowry. And in transition, Lowry's going full speed, finding Lamont Powers in the corner. His second 3 of the half. Miller goes inside and once again forcing the miss. So you're seeing the impact of Lowry guarding him. I didn't make any adjustments myself. It just had Lowry on him for these last couple of possessions. And it's definitely working a little bit better than anybody else we've had on him so far. Lowry gonna allow the bucket there, but that is a tough look for Miller. Sometimes you just gotta tip your cap to somebody. Powers a little bit off center for that 3, and he's gonna miss it. Jackson top of the key. Nice late close out there from Moody to force the miss. Nashville the other way. Gonna get another Powers 3 and another Powers make. He's 3 for 4 from beyond the arc. Just as I was hoping, he has definitely heated up his scoring here in the second half. Lowry goes inside and missed mid-range attempt. High screen and roll for Miller. Bounce pass inside to Mark Williams, who flushes it home. Jump ball situation here. We won it, but then Jackson steals it right in front of Powers' face. And the bucket on the other end. Charlotte. Davidson. Bounce pass inside to Powers. Nicely located pass there. Looking good in that backup point guard role is our man Davidson. I wasn't too concerned about it. We've seen him be backup point guard before when he was a much worse player, and I think it worked pretty well then as well. So that's why I was very comfortable trading Sam Hudson. In the end, it's because I do believe that Davidson can be a very effective backup point guard in this game. The production he's shown me has just even further strengthened my opinion that he can take all the backup guard minutes for this team. Lowry. He's going to get that stolen. Still hasn't been able to get rid of that tendency to just dribble the ball right into the defender occasionally. And Payne hits the mid-ranger. It's just an 8-point game. Scoring for the Hornets has really picked up some pace here in the third quarter. We have not been forcing many misses. Hardy with it. Finds a wide open man inside the arc, but it rims around and out. Davidson finds Ernest Augustine from the corner. His three was swung wide. Quick shot in transition. Jang misses it, but he gets the board. And Charlotte will miss the second shot. Not really going to get much of a good shot here to end the quarter. So it won't be 3 straight buzzer beaters in the game. And we're going to take an 8-point lead here into the fourth. Payne on the drive gets the tough shot over Pope. Now we got a good mismatch for Mullins. He goes up over Carter and gets it in easily. Brandon Miller, step back. That one is pure. He's been really good here in the second half particularly. Moody off the mark. In transition, that's a nice pass inside. Almost stolen there by Augustine, but he couldn't get to it. Here Augustine gets the assist. Well-timed cut there from Mullins. Miller inside to Jang, who gets the easy flush. Going through Mullins a lot here to start the fourth, and I like it. Here he's going to go off glass for 2. Payne to Miller. You can't leave him that much space, Moody, especially with how he's been scoring tonight. It's just a 4-point game. Davidson, can he extend the lead? No, that one's off the mark. Under 9 minutes left. Miller not going to make this a 1-score game. Nice lead pass. Moody off the mark, but it's rebounded by Ernest Augustine. Moody gets a second chance, and he drains the 3. Miller, tough look at 3. That one hung on the rim for a minute. Easy look again in the post. Doing a nice job of finding Mullins when he's got the point guard on him. That's always going to be a favorable look for our Sound. Payne inside. That one was tough. We had like 3 different defenders on him at one point in that possession. Didn't work though. Mullins. Man, these Hornets just have nobody to put on him here. Is Ousmane Dieng playing backup center for them? That's just not going to work. And Miller scoring has been working for this team, though, for sure. Pope in the corner. Gets the screen from Mullins. Fakes the shot and gets the big man the wide open dunk. It's the kind of passing that makes me love Malachi Pope, and that's the kind of scoring that makes us all love Sid the Kid. Easily completes the 3-point play. Didn't even need to look at that one go down. Now up to a 13-point lead for us, but Brandon Miller continues his good performance. Now defended by Lowry, been the best one at stopping him today, and he's going to force the tough shot there. Almost tried to bank that one in. Powers. Nice pass down the court, and he's going to get the assist. A couple times the Powers has shown the ability to make some good reads in Transition. Here he makes a bad read defensively, though. Gonna give Brandon Miller a couple of free throws on the jumper. Your Powers dishes again, this time to Mullins, who has just erupted here in the fourth. The Hornets' lack of a second center is truly biting them here in the fourth. Lowry. Clean look from deep, and it falls as it so often does. Andre Stevens defending in the post. It's Derek Jones Jr. who gets that to go. Pick and roll. Lowry inside, and he gets stuffed by Williams. Not often you see somebody get the better of Lowry on the inside, it feels like. Here he's getting doubled. Finds the man, somehow gets that to Mullins. Brandon Miller, gonna miss that one. Lowry doubled again, inside to Mullins, to Andre Stevens, nice passing the ball around. And an 18-point game with 2 minutes left, pretty much gonna seal the deal there. And the Nashville Sound will win here on the road by 13. Hornets on a bit of a cold stretch without their star LaMelo Ball, so not very much so of a playoff preview per se in this game, but it was our first look at a 9-man rotation, which is also very valuable. And of course, Sidney Lowry winning your player of the game, much deserved, was a killer scorer tonight. Taking a look here at the box score, Brandon Miller would end up dropping 46 points on us, a double-double for Williams. But overall, the Hornets just not enough for this team without LaMelo Ball. I think you add Ball to this core, and we could be talking about a very different series, potentially for the playoff preview. Lowry and Mullins both dropped 30 points. Davidson, 19 and 9. In our first look at him being, the true sixth man who gets a ton of minutes. And so definitely a good first impression for his new role for sure. Malachi Pope with a double-double as well. So here we are ending the episode now, 24 and 16. Officially 40 games and about halfway through this season. We are currently, as it sits, number 3 in the East. The Hornets, with the LaMelo Ball injury, have not quite lived up to what they were last year, but I'm sure once LaMelo comes back, they'll be right back up here, up top. The Pacers are at the top. We're familiar with that team. I definitely want to face them at some point this year, especially because that's the team we traded Patrick Baldwin to in the offseason. The Bucks being up here so high is pretty interesting. I didn't consider them, one of the biggest threats when we previewed start the season, but De'Aaron Fox and Asar Thompson, when he gets back healthy, that's a pretty good duo. And then Monte McDaniel, I definitely remember him coming out of the draft. So there you have it. Let's just take a quick mid-season update look at player stats for the year. Sidney Lowry, his stats are actually a little bit down overall. I mean, he's up a half a point, he's down about a half assist, so they're pretty consistent. His shooting's not as good though. Malachi is Mullins is actually second. His scoring is also down, but his rebounds are up. Efficiency down as well. Malachi, he's down. Like, seeing all these things go down is actually pretty surprising. His efficiency is pretty close. Assists are slightly up. You'd expect these second-year players to increase, in efficiency and maybe stats overall, but that just hasn't been the case so far. Andre Stevens has gone down for the third consecutive year. His efficiency has really taken a dip. Davidson having his best year volume-wise. He's also getting his most minutes, so it makes sense. Lamont Powers averaging 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists for us. He's been a starter for all but 7 games now. Moody, no surprise on the drop-off here. His minutes are way down. That will come up as the season progresses because we just gave him more minutes back. But this is where we're looking right now in terms of season 5. Nobody's really having, other than maybe Christian Davidson, a better year than they had last year, which is kind of surprising. But despite all of that, we're still number 3 in the East. So if somebody can get hot down the stretch of the second half of the season, we could be looking at contending for the top seed in the East, because we're only, 1 game back from the first seed now. Team is definitely starting to heat up for sure after a rough start. So that is all I've got for this episode. We'll be back soon with more NBA 2K draft only series, and until then, sound up.